listening to Ecom Expedition with Asim, the Paid Media Intelligence series. I'm Erica. Last episode, we talked about why most founders don't fully understand the ecosystem their ad spend flows through. Today, we go inside that ecosystem. We're talking about where your money actually goes before it reaches an audience, the fee chain, the intermediaries, and a number that really stopped me when I first saw it. This one's going to change how you think about your budget. Let's dive in.
I usually start with a question I ask almost every founder when paid media comes up. I ask, when you spend $1,000 on programmatic advertising, how much actually reaches a real human being looking at a real page?
Okay, I'm guessing somewhere close to 900?
That's the typical guess. But the reality, based on the Association of National Advertisers research from 2024, is closer to $500. Maybe even less depending on how the supply chain is structured. The rest gets absorbed by intermediaries, platform fees, data costs, verification tools before a single impression is served.
Wait, half? That's wild. And this isn't fraud, right?
Nope, not fraud. It's just the way the infrastructure works. Buying and selling digital ads at scale involves a lot of players, and each one takes a slice. It's a structural thing, and in some ways it's harder to fix than outright fraud.
Got it. So understanding who's taking what is the first step.
Exactly. When you run a programmatic campaign, display, video, or native bot through automation, your money first goes to a demand-side platform, the tech your agency or media buyer uses to buy inventory. That platform connects to an ad exchange, a digital marketplace where impressions are auctioned. On the other side is a supply-side platform, which publishers use to sell ad space. Around all of this, you have data companies, verification tools, fraud prevention systems, and brand safety tech that make sure your ad doesn't appear somewhere embarrassing.
So each one of these layers takes a cut?
Yes. The demand-side platform usually takes 10 to 15% of spend. The ad exchange takes a cut. The supply-side platform takes a cut on the publisher side. Data targeting costs come out before the impression is served. Verification tools add more fees. When you add it all up, industry data shows 42 to 55 cents of every programmatic dollar goes somewhere other than working media. And that's in well-managed campaigns. Poor management makes it worse.
Wow, and this is before ad fraud even enters the picture.
Right. Ad fraud is significant. Integral Ad Science reports that campaigns without anti-fraud tech see about 10.9% of impressions going to bots or fraudulent traffic. Plus, 11 to 17% of bid requests in the open programmatic ecosystem contain misrepresented inventory. The picture you think you're buying and the picture you're actually getting don't match.
I once worked with a brand spending $30,000 a month on programmatic display. When we audited their spend, a third of their impressions were from made-for-advertising sites, pages full of ads with barely any real traffic. They look good on cost per thousand impressions, but almost no meaningful audience is actually there.
That's extremely common. The agency isn't doing anything wrong per se. They're optimizing for the metrics they're measured on. But the founder sees a reasonable cost per thousand impressions and has no idea that a big portion is essentially worthless. That gap between efficiency and effectiveness is where money disappears.
So what's a founder supposed to do? Stop programmatic ads?
No, you don't need to become a programmatic expert yourself. The goal is fluency, knowing enough to ask the right questions and have protections in place. First, ask about the supply path. Are you buying through open auction, where anyone's inventory is available, or through a private marketplace, a curated set of publishers with pre-negotiated terms? Private marketplaces captured 59% of programmatic spend in 2024, up from 41% the year before. Premium publishers prefer private deals, and informed advertisers follow them. Open auction is cheaper for a reason.
And the second thing?
Check if you have log-level data access from your demand-side platform. Can you see individual bid requests, what was bid on, what was won, and where impressions served? Most brands don't, and most agencies won't offer it by default. Without it, you can't verify what's really happening.
That's a question most founders haven't even thought to ask. It's not on the checklist when onboarding an agency.
Rarely is, and it should be in the contract along with audit rights, the ability to have an independent party review media buying activity. This is critical because of principal media issues. Some agencies buy inventory wholesale and resell it at a markup without full disclosure. The CEO of the Trade Desk called this out in 2026. 90% of surveyed marketers are unsure if principal media benefits them. Over a third of contracts don't even address it. Transparency goes deeper than fees. Conflicts of interest exist that most founders don't know about.
Practically speaking, if I'm a founder listening, where do I start?
Start by asking your agency for a full breakdown of programmatic spend, not just results. Ask what percentage goes to inventory versus tech and data fees. How much comes from private marketplace versus open auction? Do you have access to log-level data? Are they buying as your agent or operating as a principal? These questions aren't accusatory. They're commercially reasonable. How your agency responds says a lot about the relationship.
The reality is uncomfortable. Most founders have been spending significant money in a system they don't fully understand, and the system isn't designed to flag problems automatically.
That's right. And the goal isn't paranoia or assuming everyone acts in bad faith. Most people in this industry do their jobs well. The point is to give founders enough knowledge to be genuinely informed participants. That gap between an informed and uninformed founder isn't just about comfort. It's tens of thousands of dollars a year depending on budget. Either that money works for the business or it gets absorbed by a system that isn't fully visible.
That's episode 2 of the Paid Media Intelligence series. To go deeper on your situation, start at asimkhalik.com or book a strategy session at ecomexpedition.com. Next episode, we'll tackle the automation wave. Every major platform moving in the same direction simultaneously. It's one of the biggest shifts in paid media, and most founders haven't fully processed what it means for running campaigns. Subscribe, and we'll see you there.